and we are back here on the College Carball channel. I am your host and play-by-play caster, Vodable, and joining me for that interesting matchup that we had, it was a little bit of a sweep, is Meat and Greek. We have another potential great matchup or hotly contested one here about to be underway as well. Waterloo versus Guelph. What can you tell me about these two teams, George?
Well, Waterloo Warriors, they're currently 5-7, respectable record here in the Eastern Conference. They're going to be facing up against the Guelph Griffins. They're 0-4. However, their season really has just begun because they've only played 4 games, so there's not enough to really have a conclusive argument on how this match is going to go. However, I did speak to Gib from the Waterloo Warriors earlier today, and I asked him about how the team is feeling. And he said, well, we don't feel so confident. I don't know why he's telling me this. Because they're doing really well. He said, other than that, we're just trying to finish out the season having fun with our sub now turned starter. So that's going to be very interesting. Because on the other side of the field from the Guelph, Lycan told me just more and more practice to be, or my apologies, I asked him what this team needed to do, and he said that they just need to practice more and more. To be frank, we need to be confident to the ball and keep up our speed. We need to get a W to get some momentum, and we hope to do it here. So very, very contrasting views. I'm kind of surprised that the Warriors aren't really feeling themselves for this matchup. I think they've been playing extremely well, but again, we'll have to see what they do on the pitch.
Yeah, they've won 5 of their matches so far. They only have 3 more in the season. This will be their last on-stream match, and they still have to face off against OSU Gray and Penn State Esports. So those will be some interesting matches there. Those teams, they don't have too many of their games played yet, so still hard to tell how those will specifically go. Guelph, you mentioned it. Their season has only just begun. They've only played 4 of their games so far. They have 10 more, excluding this one. So still plenty of Rocket League for them to play off stream, and we still have to see exactly how this team is going to do. And this is kind of the Battle of Ontario, because both of these teams hailing from the Great White North, my homeland, as it'll be a pretty nice matchup to see these two teams, but most people probably expecting Waterloo to come out on top here.
That might be what they're expecting. Of course, whenever I ask the players how they're feeling about the upcoming matchup, I always give them a little bit of space to just be as creative or as intimidating or as spicy as they want. But both these teams, you've mentioned it, Vod, they're both Canadian, very kind, of course, very kind teams, and they did not want to disparage each other's names. So hey, you know what? I give them a whole lot of respect for that. But for now, just looking at what we have on paper in a head-to-head matchup here, it's gonna, for me at least, it looks like the Waterloo Warriors on paper look like a better team. However, they have played a lot more matches than Guelph, so I think that Guelph has a great opportunity here to bring this match here for their first win of the season, start a momentous run for the rest of it, because you're right, they still have 11 games, including this one.
So many.
That's so much. We're in week 2. They still have 11 games to play in their season. A lot of teams, they're already almost done. Some of them are 5-7, and they just only have a couple of games left. So it's very contrasting.
It's going to be very interesting how the rest of the season is going to go for Guelph, and the season almost done here for Waterloo. They're looking to clean up some more wins and make sure that they can maintain some higher positioning on the standings before we go into that playoff bracket for the regional conference. But we do have to get into game 1 of this best of 5, Guelph versus Waterloo. Good demo coming out from Lycan so far, making sure that they get the initiative on offense. Already saw MD22 take his own chance to cross it over and maybe set up some offensive pressure for his teammates. Will be quickly dashed straight to a Gib. There's a good hit from him. That will commit on the defensive end though from Guelph. Not going to do them any favors, but no shots threatening so far from either side. And as I say that, might have one here from Guelph. There's a great touch, but not on target yet. There's one from Lycan. And again, it will be stopped by the defense.
Yeah, and both teams now putting a couple of shots on goal each, not finding their target quite yet, but it's good to see a matchup where both teams are pretty close in at least the first minute. Nothing really too astonishing on both sides of the field, and I'm sure from here we can guess that's going to be a good matchup.
MD22, he tried to get there in time to take advantage of that open net opportunity that was granted to him. The teammates on the defensive end were able to get back in time. Lycan with a great drop down, a slow one at that. But Gibb is not going to fall to that shot as it was coming his way. Might have an opportunity here for the offense. Guelph to get something started, and they've had the majority of the pressure so far. There's a good shot, and unfortunately the defense didn't even have time to challenge that one.
Yeah, I think actually this was a very savable ball, and Somnix was right there. Maybe just didn't have enough boost in the tank. Just taking a look here, and just nope, not enough there to make a valiant effort. And now 3 minutes left in this game, approximately, Vod. Still plenty of time for Waterloo, but Guelph exceeding expectations. They want this first win. They're going to try and take it all here.
That's going to be important for Guelph as well. You talked to Gibb before, and he was saying that they aren't extremely confident. They're just here to have fun. Their sub now starter, and there's another goal actually going to go in, a pool shot, it seemed like, from the teammate and the opponents there.
Yeah, and actually, Draylen did a fantastic job getting that ball by Gibb, and Harp did a fantastic job getting in position for the play. And I think this game right here is going to go down to confidence level, I think. And now, I don't want to assume the Waterloo Warriors are thinking that they're going to lose this matchup. Like, I really don't want them to. They might just be trying to be polite. But well, they're just doing like Lagan. He's brought that ball all the way downtown, and take a look at how much aggression he faced. Almost none.
Yeah, Gibb trying to come off the wall there, but jumped a little bit too early. Would have been better if he just met him at the goal line for that challenge. Would have already been prepared, but it seems like this is just another day at the office for Guelph on offense. As Waterloo, we really haven't seen them be able to get anything started after that first minute of play. Now, as I mentioned it, MD22 from Gibb would have been a beautiful follow-up there, but no execution in sight. Maybe MD22 can force it in, but there are 3 members to count on for Guelph to knock that away, and we need more out of Waterloo. There is the opportunity. They had to get that one in, even though both members went for it, and Somnix gets the goal.
Yeah, and this could be the start of something beautiful here. And Lycan, a likely effort trying to keep that ball on the outside. You're the last man back. Got to do anything you can to keep that ball away. Just unfortunately was unable to get the touch required to keep the ball out of dangerous hands. And now Waterloo down by 2. Still plenty of time left in this game. Have plenty of opportunities, I hope, for their sake at least.
Ooh, there we go.
Look at that demo.
Beautiful work by Waterloo. They've been able to change things around so quickly and efficiently, taking out the last defender. We saw one try to come in at the end, but it was all for naught, as we see a 1-goal deficit now between these two teams, whereas before it was 3.
Yeah, and on that play too, Insomniacs took out not only Lycan with the demo, but I believe it was Harps on the wall, or sorry, took out Harps with the demo, I believe, but took out Lycan, who's on the wall as well. So did interference on 2 of the defenders. That's huge for Waterloo in a fantastic way to bring back that momentum.
Beautiful work being put in by Waterloo. First half didn't look too strong for them, but now they are making up for it. But again, as I say that, there was a perfect opportunity there to strike Lycan now. The follow-up of his own, baiting out 2 defenders, not able to maintain possession. Doing his work on defense as well, but that gives up a shot to Insomnix, and he will sink it to tie up the game. 3 uncontested goals for Waterloo.
Yeah, and a double commit there, opening things up on the Waterloo side of the field. Unfortunate there, but that's where team communication comes in clutch to be able to understand where to go on your rotation. Just unfortunate circumstances there, as now Guelph, they start out hot here with a 3-0 lead, and then they just dropped it.
And that might be a lead for Waterloo. They could not get the touch they needed, but they'll have time to get back and recuperate on their own defensive half. Harps, he's going for a challenge and just sends Insomnics up a little bit on a floater. Dralion, he might have a chance. That's going to be up to the defense, so simply clear that away. Give it up to Harps, who is actually going to get a great touch there to deny any access to that goal line for now. Great pop-up from Insomnics. Lycan is there with the read. MD22 and his teammate Gib went up for the same ball. Not going to get punished at all, though.
Okay.
That gives him good positioning. But Lycan disrupting that play, making sure that they don't have any momentum to work on. And as soon as I say that, Gib with these challenges in the wing could not get that last one. He should have backed up on the play, and that would have been beautiful from him.
Gib was a one-man army. Not only did he stop the ball at midfield, but created his own entire sole offensive possession that was still very threatening for Guelph, that they were shaking in their net, trying to keep that one away. And that's how you know that this Waterloo team is dangerous, especially on an individual level.
And this might be potential overtime unless we see Guelph come out with the strike. There's a great touch there, but we'll go straight towards the defense. Lycan sending it over. It's still up in the air. Not going to be able to really hold on to this unless he can pop it up. Oh, and there's the miss there. Grants us overtime. Game one in a very unexpected series of events.
Yeah, you know, this is what I love so much. Our first overtime of the evening. It's on this series that we didn't really know what was going to happen, so I'm just really glad that this is going to be a close one.
Especially with the 3 uncontested goals by both teams.
Yeah.
They're just giving each other a chance to shine, but this might be the time for Gibbon. He gets the strike. The double commit is not going to work out this time.
And sometimes it just helps to free jump that backboard because you never know where that ball is going to land. Wow, Dralion never touched that ball, and that might not have even gone to Gibbon. This might still be in overtime.
It wouldn't have. It might have potentially gone on the goal line or close to the upper 90. He had to make the shot count for the save, but instead just went straight towards Gib, and he was on a path of destruction that could not be stopped. Great touches by him because he was able to put some great pressure on, set up his teammates as well. We saw so much out of Guelph in the first half. It's just the last half. They were kind of non-existent.
Yeah, no, it's very strange, especially because a team that puts up 11 shots on net, and all of a sudden, they just completely collapse and let Waterloo score 4 goals in a row. I hope that's not a sign of danger for the rest of this series for Guelph, because they are currently 0-4 in league play. They need a win to jumpstart their season. There's still plenty of opportunities for them to bring it back, but those opportunities are running out.
You don't want to start the season with a 5-match losing streak because it's very difficult, motivation-wise specifically, to come back from that, let alone how long it's been a dry spell for them to get a win in any of these matches. So we'll see going into Game 2 if Guelph can turn things around and make sure that they actually secure the win and not give up that much room for Waterloo. Did so well in the first half. Hopefully they're able to start out strong here and keep it going with the consistency that we didn't really see throughout that game. 5 minutes back on the clock as we see the kickoff go in the favor of Lycan. Almost able to get the block on Insomnics. Now Dralion not really able to do too much there. Has to give it up to Gib. He'll actually read that off the ceiling touch, but not enough for his teammates to do anything about. Gib losing the challenge there towards the midfield line. Lands in the lap of MD22. Right back to Gib. He'll go up and over. There's a good bump. Now we need the finish, but it is not sharp enough for it to cut that angle into the net.
Yeah, close play there. Oh, Gib, little bit of a mistouch there. Onyx forced to play that ball along his back line, but it looks like right now the Waterloo Warriors starting out pretty high here, trying to score early against Guelph and just completely change the tone of this series.
Well, that would have been beautiful if Harps could have succeeded on that shot. Unfortunately, he was blocked by the defense and did not have enough space to work with. Gib, he will take that away, send it over to MD22 for the redirect. And no, there's the miss. Not going to be enough, though. Squeeze on by, a good bump. But again, they are still able to scrape by barely on the defensive end for Guelph.
Yeah, and Guelph, they can't be pushing their luck too much. One of these days, one of those shots is going to find its way in the back of the net. They can't cut it too close every single time. And with that, they're going to have to limit some of this offense coming in through from Waterloo.
Here comes a chance for Waterloo as well. They can take that away from Harps, but he's not going to give it willingly. Gibb actually kind of sends it to the side, right where Harps is, patiently waiting, letting his teammate go forward to try and disrupt the defense as much as they can. The miss there, though, not going to bite them in the butt just yet. It's like it. He's the main offensive striker.
Oh,
There's a good setup, but not enough for it to go in. Bar down and out. Lycan with another chance. Both defenders patiently waiting there. Not able to get the touch either. Drelion try to keep this in play on the orange half. No one in net now, but no one there for the follow-up either. Lycan tries to delay the advance of the opponents of Waterloo. Again, doing all he can to be, I guess, the mastermind of any play. Offense, defense, doesn't matter. He'll be there to make sure that Waterloo doesn't have too much they can do, but MD22 off that backboard. And still not enough of a follow-up from any of these teams to secure a goal here.
Yeah, and this could spell danger, though. That falls in front of the net. Lycan forced to bring it out himself. And one thing I do want to compliment on the side of Guelph is that their midfield defense spot has been doing pretty good here, keeping this ball on the orange half. Of course, sometimes Waterloo is able to get through and start an offensive rush of their own, but for the most part, at least for this first half of the game, we've seen a lot of pressure come in through for Guelph.
And that's been great to see, the improvement from game 1 to game 2, making sure that they don't give that space to them in the midfield and just meeting them at every challenge they can. They haven't been able to do much offensively because they've been using most of their boosts to get to those challenges. So now if they can break their side, they are boost star, they finally get the clear, now to go on the transition. But the bump from Lycan onto the ball into the corner, still not going to do them enough of a favor to start offense for Guelph. With a little over a minute remaining, still waiting to see that first goal and the first mistake from either side. A great touch towards the upper 90 and a demo to follow through. There's a good setup. Will be intercepted by Gibb. No one on the follow-up on the orange side. Knowing not to be baited out by the offense of Guelph. There is a double commit on the defensive end for Waterloo. And again, no one's been able to take advantage of these mistakes or the challenges that have gone awry because they've just been in a position to mirror each other time and time again instead of just going all out on offense.
Oh yeah, it's because these teams, they're playing both very conservatively here, Vod. They do not want to make any mistakes, especially as this game is getting down to the wire. We're potentially looking at another overtime here, though this time it's not a 3-3 overtime, it will be 0-0 going in. So yeah, this will be a one-goal game, or yeah, a one-goal game in total.
Pretty much, yeah.
if my math checks out, of course. You know,
I think it does.
Be a little bit wrong. But like 10 seconds left here, I'm not seeing a clear victor in this game. It's pretty much a stalemate unless this demo can do something here.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness, the demo opening things up like in the Savage. And Insomnic's doing everything he can, but he just could not make the touch. And Lycan's like, oh, I'm going to get the demolition, rotate in, and secure the victory unless a miracle happens here for Waterloo.
That was a very difficult read to make for Insomnics, and the demo did not help. Lycan in position, takes out any opposition he will face for that goal, and it slowly landed right in front of him. Perfect spot, perfect time. And it wasn't completely a mistake from Waterloo that led to that first goal and the only goal of that series. So really goes to show how close these two teams are, and Guelph really having the mental fortitude to hold off to those last few seconds, not give it up and let it just hit the ground, taking advantage of the one opportunity really that was given to them and getting that win to tie up the series 1-1.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting that you highlighted the fact that both these teams didn't really make any mistakes, and it's because Guelph force the issue here with that demo. I really love the meta that's been working out for them extremely well in here in game 2, and being aggressive is something that the Waterloo, they weren't really adapted to because the game was so stagnant, and all of a sudden Guelph turned it on like a light switch. Yeah, they weren't they just weren't even expecting it. They're probably thinking, all right, we're gonna go to overtime and then we'll flex things out from there. But no, Guelph all of a sudden strikes. And now we're tied 1-1. This is going to be a much closer series than I think a lot of people were giving credit for.
It's going to come down to the wire, especially how close these first 2 games have gone. Almost had 2 overtimes in a row. The first one, 7 goals scored. And this one, only a single one. So they're going to keep changing their play style and trying to adapt in the series. We'll see if Waterloo can keep up with Guelph this time and take the lead back into their favor, only needing 1 more if they take the victory in game number 3. Now we get underway with Insomnics, sending that one back to Gib. Have to wait for the defensive Lycan, but big clear to the other corner, but right towards MD22. He just needs to follow through here, gets the block, but not the setup he wanted for Insomnics to execute on the finish. Ooh, Lycan could have potentially got something going there. Really not the greatest angle for an attack. It's Gib will let this roll off the corner. Not going to give him enough space for it to drop down willingly. Harps sends it over to Lycan. Right back to Harps. He's going to take his time going off the wall, right over past Gib. Again towards the South. Lycan really did so much in the first game for Guelph. Got that last goal in the second game. Looking to see more of what he can do on offense in this one.
Yeah, seriously, Lycan being the X factor here for Guelph. And if you're Guelph now, you want to score here early in this game and create that momentum. You cannot give Waterloo any chance of thinking they can come back and retake the series lead here. You need to solidify yourself here in game 2. You want to take this series in as little games as possible. But of course, Vod, that's in the perfect world.
Yeah, in the perfect world, Guelph would have won that first game and they'd be up by 2 in this series. But Waterloo are still alive and kicking. They made it only a 1-goal differential. Came down to the last few seconds even in that second game. So we'll see if they could score this here, but Lycan patiently waiting for that one, making sure there was no opportunity for a follow-up. Again, Lycan could not get it past MD22. And MD22, he's been going for so many unorthodox plays, almost paying off there.
Wow.
Lycan again going to deny access to that goal line, but for how long? Harps with great booming clear. They'll get up in time. The demo definitely does them many favors defensively, so they have enough room to breathe and enough to go away to the other end, but not for long enough.
Not for long enough indeed, but we're approaching the halfway mark of this game. It's still tied 0-0, but I'm seeing a lot of great plays coming from Waterloo. They're playing extremely confident, and that might be an opportunity. Oh my goodness! Calamity on the goal line. Oh no.
That's very unfortunate series of events. Drelion unfortunately could not get back in time. A very tough read to make, especially when he was pushed up a little bit too far. He tried to recuperate at the end there, but would have been better off just backing up and maybe going for a different kind of play. Too little, too late. 1 goal is the lead. That might be all that's needed for Waterloo. Insomnics, Gib on the attack. Harps and Drelion, they'll be patiently waiting towards that box. You get a clear to the other side, so might see something from Lycan. Him and his teammates can get something going, but will be pressured by MD22. There comes Gib with another big clear past the halfway line. You can tell that Waterloo are feeling a lot more comfortable now that they have the 1-goal lead, but they need more than that, and MD22 almost granted them the 2-goal lead.
Goodness, yeah, MD22 has been playing like that this entire game 3 here. You can tell just how confident he's playing, especially when he's going out for those backwards. Oh, Harps, you had the open net. You got to throw that on.
We've seen so many opportunities like that go by the wayside for Guelph, unfortunately for them. And another one from Harps. He could have gotten a great touch, but barely missing the mark. MD22 he will thank his lucky stars that he does not have to worry about another tied game so far. But off that corner, right back where it came from. A little over a minute remaining. This is do or die for Guelph if they want to get the lead in this series and not go to their potentially last matchup on stream.
Oh man, Drayleon had the redirect opportunity. And these are the little things here that are adding up, VOD. You have these opportunities, and if you keep letting them slip away, those were two potential goals now that Guelph could have had, but just were unable to have good shot placement.
And that's really been the kicker for this team, the shot placement so far. They've had so many shot opportunities, they just haven't been able to secure, I guess, an accurate enough shot, or maybe just passing it back and forth between each other. They've just been simple saves for Waterloo to make. With less than 30 seconds now, they're keeping up the pressure and the possession as best they can. MD22 really doing the most for that on offense. But this is the last push that Guelph need to make, and they got to make it count if they want to bring the lead in their favor for the first time in this series. But it's not going to be enough. 2 seconds left, counting down, need to go the length of the field, trying to keep it up in the air. Drayleon, he's going to actually leave that up for his teammates. And MD22 is not going to allow any of that to happen, stopping it where it counts, making sure Waterloo are now at their last game win they need.
Yeah, Waterloo, unfortunate game for them because I thought they could have had an easy win here, but unfortunately, they just had a couple missed opportunities, and of course that goal let in. I don't want to put I don't want to put Drayleon on.
Yeah.
Or was that Harps? I believe it might have been Harps.
It was Drayleon, actually, yeah.
It was Drayleon. I don't want to put Drayleon on blast, but goodness, that's rough. And I can see it going on in the replay in the background. It's almost tough to watch, but hey, you know, those happen. And what defines a great team is being able to move past those and keep charging on. There's still great opportunities left for Guelph in this series. They just got to win 2 more games, Nick, and they'll take it. And they are so close to doing that.
They are very close, but it's going to be an uphill battle from this point, especially with how well Waterloo were able to adapt in that third game. They got the first goal, were able to hold on to that for such a long time, and now we need to see Guelph really step up to the plate. They did it in game 2, but took them almost 5 minutes to do so, to break past Waterloo. So we'll see how they can do it in this next game, and if they have enough to actually get their first match victory, because they are 0-4 on the season so far. Still have 11 games, including this one, 10 more after this. So their season isn't done yet, but we still need to see a lot more out of Guelph if they want a chance to make it to those regional playoffs, to see if they can actually compete for one of the 2 spots going to that LAN in Arlington.
Yeah, one of those 2 spots indeed. And the Eastern Conference is so competitive. I mean, we take a look at the Western Conference, and you see LSU sitting up at 9-0, and no one's even close to them right now. I mean, obviously, obviously they played a lot more games than some of the other teams with Eastern Conference right now. We can't even bring up the standings right now. Akron sitting at a pretty 8-0, and right below is UCF 7-4. Of course, UCF has played more games than Akron has, but looking at the matchups Akron has left for them, I'm not going to say it's going to be particularly difficult for them, but they do not have the toughest schedule remaining. So I think it's almost safe to say that Eastern Conference might be tough against this Akron squad. However, the top 8 teams will qualify for the playoffs, and that's where anything can happen.
And that's what's going to be so important for this Guelph team, because even though they could lose all 5 of the games they've played so far, including this one, they still have 10 more. If they go 10-5 on the season, they will make it to those playoffs. So they have the world in their hands, and they need to make sure that they do their best to take care of it. And it's a great place to start would be here, to take the series back to a tied matchup, go to that game 5, and see what they can do there. But you got to take it one game at a time, and this might be the game that matters the most, and can't afford to give that kind of a goal to give.
Oh, you can't either, because the pieces were there, but Gibbs saw the opportunity from all the way downtown, and Lycan was chasing the ball the entire way, but just could not catch up. So unfortunate. Now Waterloo playing with their heels against the wall. This is going to be very rough.
Well, and Gib again almost able to secure a second goal. You can tell that he is so much more confident than he was in the other games. MD22 a little bit off the mark there, but Waterloo just seem like they don't have much to worry about here. Not much on the line for them. And Somnix is at that point following it up by his lonesome and not even have to worry about his teammates here. Gib basically trying to confuse the defense, and none of them went for the challenge there.
Yeah, that's the problem there. You have two defenders on the goal line. Someone has to speak up and say, hey, I'm going to challenge the ball. Wish me luck, wish me whatever, but just be ready for what happens next. But nobody did that, and that just left a wide open opportunity for Waterloo to take a 2-goal lead.
Lycan trying to get something going on offense, but had no boost to work with, having to retreat towards the blue half of the field. Now he might have a better shot at it. Gib tried to get in his way, but unsuccessful in that effort. Did divert him enough off of his path to prevent a good angle of opportunity. Gib with an MD22, no connection in sight. He almost got one himself though. Lycan, again, he's been on the offensive side so many times this series, but has not had the resources to actually secure any of the goals he's been going for.
Yeah, and this is so unfortunate that you really need the team cooperating together for its fullest potential. But for Guelph, I just don't see it really coming together right now here, but there's still opportunities left. And that should be a shot on net. Lycan is there, but no support. We need more support for these Guelph players, especially in their offensive half.
They can't just afford to go by their lonesome at the net and hope for the best. They need support, as you mentioned. They need to pass it in between each other, because these simple shots that have been going towards the half of Waterloo time and time again throughout the series, none of them have gone in.
None of them have, and that's because they're just so easy to save. Their routine saves from Waterloo. And again, I'm thinking back to Waterloo and my little bit of an interview with Gib and how they just didn't really have that much confidence, but clearly in this game, you can tell they're so confident because of the style that they're throwing on a lot of these shots and the flexes that they're throwing out here. Watch Gib here, the long ball from downtown, but take a look at that pass from Insomnix to get it to him. That was just an excellent team play.
That was a perfect hit off the ground just to get the bounce that was needed. Saw Gib going for the clear. Ended up being an actual goal. Might have expected Dralion to be there in position. Now he puts a shot towards the net. Need to see more from his teammates though to support him. And again, they've been putting on the pressure but have not been able to keep possession on offense. So even though they are setting up all these shots, there's no follow through, and there hasn't really been much positioning wise to get things going for Guelph. There's a potential shot there. Good save by MD22. There's the follow-up that has been lacking.
There we go.
And now they get things back under control.
This is exactly what you need to do as Guelph. You put the shot on net, you immediately have someone there to take another shot for the follow-up. They did exactly what they need to do. Let's see if they can repeat this, maybe just a little bit faster, because that ball was still in a good area for Waterloo to get a defender on it, but unfortunately their defensive rotation was not up to par that time.
Well, the defense looked like it was wide open there for a moment for Waterloo to strike. They weren't in a good enough position to capitalize on it. Now there might be a chance for MD22. He sets it up to Gib, but both Gib and Insomnix went for it. Good challenge by Insomnix, but that's going to open up space. Almost a great save from MD22.
I can't believe he's able to pinch that ball against the top corner of his goal and make it not go in. Wow.
There was almost another one there. It's just luck has not been on the side for this Guelph roster. They've had so many shots barely go off the upper 90 and near the crossbar and the post intersection. But Dralion, he's going to wait for that one to go over to MD22. Having to back up on this play as Harps pops it down right towards where Gib is waiting for it. MD22, a great follow-up, 4-1. That might be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Guelph, close only counts in horseshoes, and this is Rocket League, and you got to make all your shots count. And MD22 doing that all night long in this series. In Waterloo, on the brink of taking a commandable and commendable 3-1 victory in this series against Guelph. They're going to look to improve their record.
Wait, hold on.
I'm speaking a little bit too soon. Oh my goodness, could this be something?
Harps has been going for these shots all day long. Finally, it pays off. No one really home or expecting that one, especially after how unsuccessful he's been on previous attempts. But now, that might be all they need to get things going. Less than 30 seconds, 2 goals. It is possible. Liking it, trying to set his teammate up off that ceiling. Now a follow through by Harps. He's going to bait out 2 defenders. Potential pop down. And you can tell the defense is scrambling, but the offense is all pushed up.
Yeah, but that was a big clear there from Waterloo. They're going to waste so much time with this one, potentially sealing it here. There might not be enough time left for Guelph to put 2 goals on net. Unfortunately,
wait, there's still opportunity. There's still time. There's 2 seconds left. This game's not over.
They've wasted so much time, but might not be enough for Waterloo. Gibb could not backflip in time to deny the access to their goal. 2 seconds, they need a kickoff goal here to bring it to an overtime. Gonna hit the ground though, unfortunately for them, and Waterloo are gonna be thanking their lucky stars as they move on 3-1 in that series, and they only have a few more matches remaining in their season. Only 2 more after this, now going 6-7. A little bit more of a respectable series standings from the season, and they only have 2 more matches, so can even go up from there.
Yeah, trying to get above 500 for this season will do them wonders heading towards those playoffs to get themselves a good seed. And Guelph, oh my goodness, if you gave them 30 more seconds in that game, I bet you they would have gone and tied it up. They were starting to get pretty pumped up there, Nick. I was getting ready for the Guelph comeback. I thought it was going to get really intense.
It was so close to happening, but when it comes to Guelph, they had great stuff going for them. Lycan, he was able to do a lot offensively for the team. Defense-wise, whenever it came down to the wire, it kind of just fell apart a little bit, and they overcommitted a little bit too much on offense. And during those overcommits, they weren't really working as a team, going for some passing plays, setting each other up. It was more them all just using their own mechanics to go for crazy shots. And it worked out. Sometimes we saw Harps succeed in that effort in that last game, but it took so long to finally get one of those through. So maybe if they can just work together as a team, make sure that they improve upon their passes infield, because we've seen that be a major struggle for a lot of these teams. Their passes back and forth between each other because all the interceptions that have happened so many times on the opposing end of the field. So if they can work on those few things, they still have so many games ahead of them, 10 in fact. Their season has only just not even halfway through yet. They are 0-5, but they could go 10-5 at the end of the day.
Yeah, almost halfway through indeed, but we are actually going to be halfway through for this evening. We're going to have only 4 matches for y'all, but our 3rd match that will be coming up after the break is going to be the University of Miami going up against the Ohio State Buckeyes. You are watching the CRL B stream here on College Carball. We will be right back with more action.
Might have an opportunity here for the offense. Well, to get something started, and they've had the majority of the pressure so far. There's a good shot, and unfortunately, the defense didn't even have you talked to him before. He was saying that they aren't extremely confident. They're just here to have fun. Their sub now starter, and there's another goal actually going to go in the